Hey guys, Telegram Sam here. If you don't already know, I have an Instagram. It's telegram_Sam_vinyl. So if you're on Instagram, check me out on there. But today's video is my contest entry for Rob at Northern Revolution's Get to Know Ya contest. I think this is such a great idea for a contest. It's essentially you just showing 3 records that just have some sort of sentimental value for you. They bring up memories, just something beyond just liking the music, just like the story behind that record and why you love it so much. And I think that's such a great idea for a contest and just to get to know all these great people in the VC. So the rules are obviously talk about and show those 3 records, and then you also have to give a shout out to another channel in the VC that has less subscribers than you, and the channel I want to shout out is Ben Rankins. I believe he's from New Zealand, but it's funny because he's been commenting on my videos for quite a while now, and I just now realized he actually makes his own videos. And yeah, he shows a lot of great music: garage, punk, alternative, rock. I mean, he shows a little bit of everything in the videos I've seen from him so far. And I think he only has about 100 subscribers currently. So definitely go check him out if you're not familiar with him. I'll link both Rob's channel and his contest video down below, and also Ben's channel down below in the description. But yeah, let's get into the 3 records I want to talk about. First off, we have Every Picture Tells a Story by Rod Stewart. Yeah, so the story behind this album, why I chose this, is because this was very early on when I started collecting records, probably within the first year or two, so I would have been 13 or 14. The only place to buy records where I lived was essentially thrift stores. Probably the closest real record store to me was probably an hour and a half to 2 hours, which essentially would just be driving to Seattle from my hometown, Whidbey Island in Washington State. So yeah, the only place to get records was the thrift store, and that's where I got a lot of my records within the first 5 or 6 years of collecting music. And I would always maybe just find like 1 or 2 sort of things, nothing too crazy, just like your basic sort of rock, pop music, nothing wild. But this one day after school, my mom picked me up. She wanted to go to the thrift store to get some like kitchen houseware stuff, and I would always go scope out the music, and it was like coming upon the Holy Grail. Obviously, someone must have just given their entire record collection to the thrift store, because it was all Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Bob Dylan, Rod Stewart. It was just like everything you want when you're like, today's gonna be a good day, I'm gonna find something at the thrift store times like 10. And my mom would give me allowance of like $10 a week just for, doing chores and doing stuff around the house. And I think they were asking for like $2 per album. And I think my mom ended up pitching some money in because she felt bad, because of course I wanted to grab everything. I think there was probably like 30 to 50 records there that I wanted, but she was like, you cannot buy all of these. So I had to like pick and choose, and this is one of the ones I grabbed. And I also got like Houses of the Holy, Led Zeppelin, and they were like all originals, and they were all in like near mint VG plus condition. They were in beautiful condition, not a scratch on the records. This was obviously someone that cared about their records and took care of them. So yeah, I found Houses of the Holy, Led Zeppelin, my Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Desire by Bob Dylan, a couple of Bruce Springsteen albums. It was just like, I was in heaven, and I was so upset that I had to leave without the rest of the records. I think I tried going back the next week, and of course they were all gone by the time I got there. And but the reason I chose this one, besides this was part of the law I found at the thrift store, was because this has the song Maggie May on it, which is the song I ended up naming my cat Maggie after. So it kind of has a double meaning to me for this album. Plus, it's just such a killer album. It's probably my favorite Rod Stewart album. And then next up we have Boarding House Reach by Jack White. So it was 2018 when Jack White was on tour for this album. This was the last album he did before the new one that just came out, I think, last month. Um, but yeah, I went to go see him for this tour, and I always get to concerts like ridiculously early. I rely on public transit to get around, so I always kind of leave my house earlier than I should because just the transit isn't always that reliable, and I never like being late to things, especially to concerts. So I got there like an hour and a half early, and I don't know if he's doing this on the tour that he's currently doing, but on this one, as soon as you got into the venue, you had to put your phone in like this little bag and it would magnet close. So you weren't allowed to use your phone unless you went to these little areas that were like in these blackout cube curtains. So you weren't allowed to take pictures or video or anything. And I didn't really care, so I was just like walking around the venue, and this venue just has all glass windows around the outside. And so I got to the back, kind of where I saw them loading in the gear for the show, and I was just like watching them, kind of just killing time before I went to go sit down. I ended up going to the merch booth and got this album there. And so I was just kind of chilling them, watching them, and there's these two girls probably about like 3 or 4 feet to the right of me, and all of a sudden this white van comes in, and we're probably about like 10 feet above this little area, and all of a sudden you start seeing these people come out, and Jack White comes out, and you could tell it's him because he's literally white, and plus I was thinking I think he was wearing like a black shirt and black jeans. And later on, I ended up finding out that he got this like black hat from one of the stores in downtown Portland. That's this like weird like specialty hat store, and he was wearing that black hat. And the girls next to me started pounding on the glass. So Jack White looks up, and he looks at us and he waves, and I like pointed at this record, and I was like, because he can't hear us. And then he kind of did this like weird little like bow thing and like did this weird little dance and then just like walked into the venue. It was such like a weird but cool moment that it's like every time I listen to this record I just always think of that weird little dance Jack White did for us. But it was like such a cool, awesome moment, and he didn't have to do that. He could have just completely ignored us and just walked into the venue, but just to like give us that 2 seconds of like recognition was really cool of him. And yeah, it's just a memory that will live with me forever. So thanks, Jack White, for your cool little awkward dance. And last but not least, I picked Desperado by the Eagles. So the story behind this is it was the New Year's going into 2017. So I was still living at home. I would have been 19 at the time. And I was just about to move to Oregon in February. So it was the last New Year's with my mom and my family in Washington. And we always kind of do something for New Year's. And sometimes we'll have people over, or we'll go over to someone else's house and hang out. And, just play games, drink, watch TV, listen to music. But this time it was kind of just a very chill New Year's. So me and my mom just decided to stay in, and I think she got a bottle of pink Moscato. And we were drinking that and playing Rummy. We always play Rummy. That's kind of our go-to game. I always talk a big game, but she beats my ass every time. But I remember literally for 4 hours we were just playing Rummy, drinking, laughing, talking, and the entire time we were listening to the Eagles. I think my mom just pulled up her Amazon station of the Eagles and was just playing that. So now every time I listen to the Eagles, I just think of how awesome that night was, and I miss having those nights with my mom, even though we always sort of get together and always at least play Rummy every time I go up to see her, she comes down to see me. That memory and will always stick with me, and the Eagles just always bring back that memory of just having a great time with my mom, and I miss her all the time. So all right, that was it for my entry for the Get to Know You contest from Rob. He has such a great channel. I've been really enjoying watching his videos the last couple of months, and definitely go check him out if you're not familiar with him. And if you want to do your own video reply, definitely go check out his contest entry announcement video so you can get all the details about it. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.